So the first place we start in 585 is creating of a wiki space. A wiki space is a form of a wiki, and a wiki, if you've read all the information that I have back there for you on this module, is nothing more than a space for you to start your virtual classroom. The Wikispaces, the reason why we use it is because it uses what I call flat HTML. In other words, if you can copy code, if you can copy the URL of a website, it will go into your wiki. Now, simply put, a wiki is just an expandable collection of interlinked web pages. It basically works off of hypertext. And you can modify the information very simply. Most wikis are used by folks who are wanting to work collectively, collaboratively. Your wiki is going to be used as a way for you to show off your ideas and your creations for this class. If you're going to use your wiki with your students, you need to make sure that you have included them into the wiki, or that you have the wiki set up as protected so they can see it. Setting your wiki up as protected is something we'll come back to here in a little bit, because if you don't, then I can't see it either. I have seen wikis used by teachers for their students. It's much simpler to use than, say, a Schoology, or it's just simpler to use. You can put anything on it. The other way I've seen wikis used is teachers will set them up for parents to see what's going on in the class. We're going to create a wiki, and then we are going to put a Voki in it. We're going to put a word cloud in it that represents a standard from your content area. And then you're going to give us a little bit of an understanding of what it's for by creating a GoAnimate. I'll show you how to do that. And then we're also going to put a back channel into your wiki using today's meet. I'm going to ask you to watch this video right here, and then put that into your wiki. In other words, you're going to embed it in, and you're going to, just react to it. All right, so let's jump back over here to the Wikispaces. And I have a problem with doing this from the beginning, because I have too many different ways that I have created a Wikispace in the past, and it basically says I'm out of Wikispaces. So you're going to have to put up with me here. Let's go ahead and we'll call it EDAP 585. You can call it anything. Just make sure you write all this down. I have to use a real email account here. And password can be anything you want it to be. So let's see if I can get in this way. And as you can see, it says we already have one. And it says I can have EDAP2. I will be glad to take that. There we go. Then I'm going to give it a password. Going to keep using the same password, and I'm going to join. So as you can see, it wants me to give it a name. This is where you really need to stop and think. What name is going to be appropriate for your wiki? As I was saying, the most important thing you can do right here is to figure out your wiki's name. Now, you don't need to worry about the rule about no spaces. This is what will appear at the top of your Wikispace as its name. The actual address of the Wikispace is going to be what you set up when you did the username. That's why the username is so important. I'm going to tell it that I am in the United States. It's going to ask me to type in the school. I'm going to go ahead and put in University of Louisville. If you want to put in your school, please feel free. As you can see, it jumps down through until it finally finds it. You can put in a course or you don't have to put in a course. Same thing with the subject being optional. The thing you must make sure you do is to certify this will be used for education. So check that box. And now you can create. Well, guess what? It did kick me out. So I'll go ahead and close up those spaces. Now I will tell it that I want to certify it to being used. And I'm going to tell it to create. And now here we are. This is my virtual classroom. But I do not want to use this classroom. This is Wikispaces trying to act like Schoology or Facebook or any other kind of social. We don't want that. So the first thing we have to do is to go locate where it says Settings. And we're going to go into our settings and we're going to start with General. This is where you can change the name, by the way. You don't have to be stuck with the name. So in other words, if you misspelled it, if you want to change it, you can do it here at any time this thing exists. So if you create it for the use in this class, but then you find that it could be used in your classroom, you can come back in here and change it so it makes more sense to your students. We are not a classroom. We are just a wiki. So we're going to click there. And we're going to make sure that then we are always in the wiki. We're going to allow search engines to find us because you want to be able to tell people, just look me up by Googling such and such. This is where you can turn on discussions or you can have no discussion pages. For right now, let's just leave it at none. This is really important. You see where it says force web browsers into SSL? This is going to come into handy when you start using things that we create in other sites and then put them into your wiki. That way the SSL recognizes that they're from somewhere else, but they are secure and they'll allow them to appear in your Wikispace. Under Google Analytics, if you have a Gmail account, you can put it in here. And what it will do is it'll start tracking the number of visitors you have, the number of places where they are coming from, and it gives you all of this wonderful graphic notation. It's really kind of cool. For right now, I'm going to leave mine empty. You can too. Now let's move down to the next one, and this is really important. Under permissions, we must make this a protected Wikispace. Now, as you can see, right now it really isn't giving me much choices except for private. So I'm going to go ahead and click on where it says verify your account. And I'm going to give it my cell phone number. And I'm going to let it call me back with the verification code. I'll be right back. Now that you have verified your account by having Wikispaces call you back with a verification code, the permissions then changes. And as you can see, we now have a public one, which you don't want to ever do. Protected, which is what we want to do. Private is what you would set up if you want to use this with your students. You can define custom permissions. In other words, you can give kids certain pages that they can edit. and others that they can't. Very good way to use a wiki with your students. And then finally, allow discussion posts from non-members. You don't ever want to do that either. You can allow people who are not members to request membership if you want to. Once you've made the changes here, make sure you update. The last thing we need to do here is for you to come up with the look you want. And that's under Look and Feel, Themes and Colors. This allows you to pick the kind of look you want your Wikispaces to have. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Everything you do, you can go back and either undo or change your mind. So like right now, my theme is this sort of notebook looking theme. A lot of folks seem to like that. Also, a lot of folks seem to like the one where everything is on the left-hand side. So I'll go ahead and change that. Notice I can change the colors here as well. And I can make everything that I want to do as many times as I want to do. And I just do and apply. And now my Wikispace has changed. As you can see, it now has a totally different look. By the way, this Wikispace is one that I use a lot. And so you'll see over here on the left-hand side, there's a ton of pages here. Yours won't have this many pages. And because I'm using it as a wiki to show you how to do things, that's why you see all these pages. So don't let it throw you. But I am going to go back up here and click on Home. Home is now a blank page and is waiting for me to add something to it. Every time I add something to a page, I must start by clicking on the Edit button. Let's go over the toolbar real quick because it's really simple. All you're doing here, we'll get rid of this. All you're doing here is you can write in here, and you can use the various tools to highlight the text, bold the text, italicize the text, underline the text. You have all the tools that you normally would have in a normal word processing. Highlight it again, click on them again, and they all go away. This one here that has like a T, this is where you can actually change the font that you want to use. I'm going to pick a ridiculous one so it stands out. I can change the size of it. And as you can see down here, it actually lets you see what that looks like. I could even change the background color if I wanted to. So I'm going to say that's what I want mine to look like. That's text. Over here, normal represents the old HTML ways of looking at text. You can make your headings bigger, smaller. People don't use this that much anymore. Mostly they use the T to basically enlarge the text. This is exactly what it looks like. This is your bulleted list. This is your numbered list, and this is your bulleted list. This is how you can indent a line, a horizontal rule, if you want to separate things on your page. Link is exactly what you think it is. A link is nothing more than a way to link your Wikispaces to other places. The other thing it does, though, is if you have multi-pages, you can actually click and go down and decide what you want to link it to. Or you can link it to another Wikispace. Isn't that cool? You can look for pages inside your wiki, and you can link it to that page in your wiki. The other one here is a web address. You always want to open it in a new window when you do a web address. So now I'm putting in a link to the University of Louisville's homepage. And if I just click Add the link, I now have a link to the University of Louisville's homepage. The other thing you can do here is if you want people to be able to send you an email from your Wikispace, you can put your email address in there. And that way people can click on that and they can create an email and send it to you. The next one over is File. And again, this is exactly what it sounds like. This is where you can put in files. Now, files can be multiple things. It can be something as simple as a picture, which is how we're going to do a couple of things here in just a minute. And as you can see, I have a picture of a word cloud. If I want to make it smaller, I click on it, grab a corner, pull it down. And now I have a much smaller file. Also notice that when I put it in, I need to be careful about where I have my cursor, because it's going to land where I have the cursor blinking. So as you can see right there is where it was. Let's look at what a file would look like. So this is from Smart Notebook, and if you click on it, it will take you to the Smart Notebook site. It's called Notebook Express, and you can actually have a Smart Notebook file open in here. Let's see, what else? Oops, sorry, I went into the wrong thing. Files. If you have a Word doc, PowerPoint, anything like that, you can upload it into your site. And the beauty of it is that it just becomes a link that then the people who are visiting your site, all they have to do is just download it and they will have access to it. Now, whenever you add things to your Wikispaces and you're finished with it, you must always save. And then that will show you what the page now looks like. One more thing. This is the really important one, widgets. So widgets are a way to put all kinds of documents and embeddable apps into your Wikispace. The easiest way to do it is to go down to where it says Other HTML, find the code from wherever you are, and you're going to paste that code in here, and then you save it. Now we're going to show you how to do this in just a minute, because I'm going to do the next part of our wiki where we are actually going to create something and then put it into the wiki. So let's do a quick review. We have created a wiki. We have gone in under Settings, and under General, we had made sure that we have it turned off from being a classroom to a Wikispace. We also then went into Permissions, and under Permissions, we have to click on where it says Verify Your Account. You give it your phone number. It calls you back with a code. Once you enter that code, then your permissions appear like this. And you're allowed then to change it to Protected. Make sure you update. And then the last thing we looked at was themes and colors. This is where you can go in and you can decide how you want your wiki to look. You can change that look very simply, and then you can apply it. And that's all there is to it. Notice I keep emphasizing to you that all of this can change while your wiki is running. So in other words, I just changed the way my wiki looks, and I did it, and this first page I have here didn't get lost. All right, so that's all there is to creating a wiki. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a couple of things and put it into our wiki.